Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Inside Gators Football, presented by UF Health. With head coach Billy Napier, I'm Sean Kelley. The Gators coming off of a tough road loss at fifth-ranked Texas A&M this past Saturday. The final score was 34-17. Coach, unlike a post-game interview where you've barely had time to even get off the field, we get to visit this week now that you've digested what happened this past weekend. What did your study tell you about the game at A&M?
Yeah, I think we started a little bit slow on defense and really dug ourselves a hole. Now, we responded on offense. I was proud of how we played early in the game, but we weren't complimentary. I think and look, we have the ball down one score 3 times in the second half and not able to tie the game, and I do think that in general, A&M did more to win. They played well in the areas that you got to play well, turnover margin, the rush battle, and certainly I think third down was lopsided as well. So they've got a really good team. I do think that three away games in a row here, we're one score, fourth quarter game. Our team has got to finish, and obviously we all know that, right? But I think in general, we're right there and have opportunities to make a few plays.
Let's take those in segments, Coach. If you go back to the first quarter, about 49% of the day's total offense was spent in that first quarter. So what was clicking offensively in the first quarter for Florida?
First of all, we had a good plan. I think that we were well prepared. I think the players executed. We had some balance. We attacked them outside. They played more man coverage early in the game. And DJ was on point, and the guys made some plays. Now, from that point forward, they shifted their strategy and played a little bit more zone, played bracket, doubled the receivers. And I think that we struggled to run it effectively against light boxes at a time. So, I think that we struggled to protect. We had some penalties. We had some negative plays, got behind the sticks. We played third and long. The average third down distance on the day was 9.5. So those are tough days, regardless of what team you are or who you're playing. So first and second down efficiency wasn't near as good in the back half of the game, and that's an area we got to get better.
And that's, I guess, goes to those pivot points that you were talking about in the game. I think in your opening comment, you said there was 3 different occasions you felt like, here's our chance in a one-score game. Was it just the combination of those things that don't allow the Gators to pass the test on those?
Yeah, inefficient runs against light boxes, and then protection issues. Guys open, maybe don't quite have enough, or we got them open and we don't make the plays. I think that there's a combination of those 3 things ultimately contributed to our inability to score.
When we look at Lagway's performance, obviously against man coverage earlier on, scripted situation, he looks dynamite, right? Where does it get confusing for a quarterback? Maybe not just Lagway specifically, but for a quarterback when a team changes to that zone or some kind of a matchup with the safety held out of the play.
Yeah, no, I don't think. I think we had some players open in the second half. He missed a few, and then I think they matched our patterns pretty good. They're doubling the receivers, and the rush is real. That's a real group rushing you. So whether it's protection or distribution of the routes or him missing a few guys, ultimately those were the issues that we had. And then now we're playing third and long, and those are always a tough battle.
Coach, I'm trying to get perspective a little bit here. 3 of the 4 losses on the road against a top 5 opponent. There's a reason why they're top 5, and there's a reason, like what we've said throughout the season, home field's very real at this level of football. That becomes harder and harder for me to try and evaluate who you are and who the Gators are against that, I guess, slate.
Sure.
I know you and your players believe you should be in every game that you play, but how do you evaluate knowing that that's what you're evaluating against? Is there some kind of a balance to be struck there?
Well, I think you got to. I think it's so important to be objective with the players. I think that a lot of narratives out there, and I think you got to, the film speaks for itself. And I think we have to take ownership of the things that we can do better as coaches, and then players have to take ownership of missed opportunities, matchups that we're losing, mental errors, whatever the case may be. So, look, it's the old adage that when the student struggles, the teacher's got to take ownership. So, we've played really good teams. I do think that DJ's injury and lack of time affected us early. I think you're seeing him kind of come back to life a little bit. That's given the team a little bit of a spark. You could see that at Texas, and you could see it early in the game at A&M. You know, he is getting better. So we've just played really good teams. I think that Miami, LSU, Texas, even South Florida is playing at a high level. So I think we played some really good teams, and in general, we've been close, but we haven't been good enough. I think we're contributing to that, although they're really talented. I think that there are things that we can do better. Our staff knows that, and I think our players know that. That's why they've continued to work and play. They see there's more out there to accomplish and that they can contribute to getting it fixed.
To that point, if I'd asked you certain questions 5 minutes after the end of the game Saturday, and then ask you the same questions today, kind of going back to the start of our conversation, they're probably different in some ways. So at this point, after now studying the tape and talking with your staff, anything that you'd like to have back from the Saturday game, or anything more identifiable as what needs improvement as you take the next step?
There were third downs where I think we could have been in better concepts, better plays. I think we called a couple screens into tough looks. Defensively, I think we changed our leverages on some of the routes. It took us a little bit to get those adjusted. But from that point forward, I thought we settled in. You think about the fourth down call at midfield. Would you punt the ball away? That was the coaching decision of the game. But in general, I thought the effort was pretty good outside of the slow start on defense. I mean, the guys there's extra effort plays all over the tape. They were into it, and I think A&M's got a really good team. I would say offensively, probably a better group than I anticipated. I think that group of skill players is unique, and if that quarterback is on, he's a handful.
There's no doubt about that.
The O-line for A&M, I thought, blocked us. We weren't able to create havoc. No TFLs, no sacks. We struggled to create negative plays, and really their third down average distance was 4.5 the whole day. So, and look, we won. We were 6 for 6 on third down on defense when it was 6+, but we were 2 for 11 when it was 5 or less. And that's a lot of third downs at 5 or less. So we won the explosive play battle, the turnover battle. They were +1. It was really about rushing the ball and third down. I think that's ultimately what contributed to the issues.
Let's end on this. When we talk about the arc of a player, we always like to note development or steps taken. And last week going into the game, we talked about that there could be some opportunities for some individuals with positions open due to injury. Coach, if we end our conversation with that, is there anybody that pops for you a little bit, or is there anybody that took advantage of said opportunity due to, the personnel situation?
Yeah. I would say Amir Jackson played pretty well in the game, for him to be really his first significant time when it counts. Miles Graham, I thought, was really good in the game. Cam James played well. I thought he flashed. And Trace Mack continues to be outstanding. So, we played our guys.
Coach, thank you as always. Good luck this weekend for homecoming. That's head coach Billy Napier. I'm Sean Kelley. Thanks again. That's Inside Gators Football presented by UF Health.